are listening to Earth Oddity, a weekly odyssey into all the oddity planet Earth has to offer. And now, serving it up are Christopher Tiny Sullivan and John Long.
Tiny, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good this morning. How you doing?
I'm great. I'm excited for another episode of Earth Oddity. It's like the cool kids are calling it, E.O.P.
That's right.
Yes. What is this, like episode 18?
This is officially episode 18. But we had an episode 0.
Yeah,
so
right.
really it's episode 19.
Yeah. But
ignore that.
Right. But 18, we're legal age now for a podcast. So,
to vote.
Yeah, we can vote.
We can vote in the upcoming podcast election.
Yeah, we can vote. We can buy cigarettes in some states, not Alabama.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what else you can do when you're serving the military. Get drafted.
Yeah.
So our podcast could get drafted for the podcast war, the great podcast war that's coming.
Right.
You got any good stories this week?
I have a Druid who was stabbed after his pagan rituals on the full moon were too noisy by his neighbors.
Okay. All right. That's pretty good. I got one where a dog shot his owner. That seems to be quite the tale of the, or turn of the, I don't know, turn of the screw, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know what phrase I'm looking for. I got to quit sniffing glue before we do the podcast. Oh, yeah. But anyways, I hope you had a good week. Hope all our listeners had a good week. We appreciate you being here with us. Just want to, give a plug up at the beginning here for Cajun Curl. Bayou Blended Spice is our sponsor. We will say we are available. Any other people out have sponsorships they're looking for? You want to be with the most popular podcast on iTunes, then you need to hit us up. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. You want to kick it off?
Yeah, I'll kick it off. Our first story is Pamela Anderson begs Kanye West to help WikiLeaks Julian Assange. Quote, they are trying to kill him.
Okay. All right. Well, I know Assange has not made many friends over the years.
No, he has not.
Yeah.
And also, we've been covering the whole Kanye West story.
Right, yes.
Apparently now he's some kind of authority.
He is.
That people go to.
Kanye.
Which is bizarre to me.
Well, think about this. This is the time we live in. All right, Dennis Rodman has negotiated peace with North Korea. Kanye West is like the
staunch Republican.
Yeah, staunch conservative. And Pamela Anderson is involved with Julian Assange, who
she is now an activist for WikiLeaks.
Yeah, for WikiLeaks. So that's the
and
Donald
world.
Trump is the president. Yeah,
yes.
That's the world we are.
It sounds like some hilarious '80s comedy.
It really does. It really does. Yeah, that's where we're at right now in the world. So I don't have a problem with it.
Well, here we go. A week after opening up about her relationship with Julian Assange and sharing why she's concerned about the safety of the controversial WikiLeaks founder, Pamela Anderson is now asking Kanye West to help her, quote, set him free.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't know what Kanye is going to do, but
put him up in his apartment, I guess. I don't know. What if Assange marries a Kardashian?
I don't know. Well, right now he can't step foot outside of that embassy, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, because Ecuador doesn't extradite people,
right?
So that's why he's been there.
And he's in the UK, but he's at the embassy.
Yeah, he's at the embassy,
right?
And he's been there for a long time.
I mean,
it's like
almost as long as my first son has been alive.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, he's basically imprisoned over there. He can't leave, can't do anything.
Which I would imagine is better than actual prison.
Yeah.
He probably has a bed to sleep on. And,
right, yeah. Eats pretty decent.
Right.
They're not making him get out and bust rocks and build license plates.
Pick up trash on the side of the road. It's
exactly.
nothing like that. Well, anyway, in a letter to the 40-year-old rapper shared by TMZ Thursday, Anderson started her note by asking West his thoughts on Assange. Hi, Kanye. Hope you are well. I was wondering about your thoughts on Julian Assange, wrote the Baywatch star, who is 50. I support him, and I know you value free speech. Visibility is good for him, especially in America, where they are trying to put him away for life or worse for exposing corruption in government. Anderson added that she believes they are trying to kill Assange. It is torture, wrote the actress, sharing that Assange has been locked in a small room for almost 6 years in London at the Ecuadorian embassy.
Wow.
And now he can have no visitors, no phone calls, or internet.
He doesn't have internet?
He don't have internet.
That was shocking to me. Wow.
I
know he's got other people who are in
Yeah.
the WikiLeaks deal with him. He's not the only guy, but
So I guess would the government have maybe would they have like negotiated with Ecuador or something to get his internet taken away? How do you do that?
I don't know.
What's to stop somebody from just bringing him a cell phone?
right.
You know?
Pamela Anderson, and this has been about a year ago. Like went over and ate lunch with hung out with him. You know, for a little,
she was
like,
going over there
visitor.
pretty
regularly.
frequently.
Right.
Yeah.
But there was like a whole thing where the internet went down over there.
I remember that.
Maybe they never.
It was right around the
restored it.
time I think Edward Snowden
Yeah.
was spilling the beans on
Right.
the NSA's, in
Yeah.
my opinion, illegal surveillance. Protocols.
Yeah, NSA.
Right.
They're getting everything. By the way, yeah, they're all up in whatever you're doing. So, yeah.
Well, anyway, they are trying to squeeze him, continued Anderson, who previously revealed that she hasn't spoken to Assange in nearly a month, with Assange's internet access cut off by the Ecuadorian government. Assange has been at the embassy for the past 6 years after claiming political asylum in order to avoid facing extradition to Sweden over a rape allegation that he has long refuted. The hacker is also wanted by the United States for espionage charges in relation to WikiLeaks' publication of classified information.
Now, I don't think he's a hacker. I think hackers send stuff to him.
Right.
I just to
Which,
clarify.
I don't know. He probably knows his way around the keyboard.
I'm sure he knows more about computers than I do. You know. No, he's not just logging Facebook and making people mad like myself does.
Well, Ms. Anderson, she's a huge fan. She says, quote, he is a genius, a real world leader that young people love. Anderson, who has been at the center of dating rumors with Assange, went on to say that she would like to seek more voices to share more about his fight. Public support could set him free, said Anderson. Media is monopolized, so some brave voices are the only hope to break through. The mom of two shared how she's always supported West's no-filter attitude.
Okay.
You speak your mind, wrote Anderson, and you make an impact. I'm sure a lot of people feel like you. They are just stuck in what society says is okay to say.
Yeah.
Anderson concluded the note by telling West to just let her know if he wants to know more about Assange or just look at his life in writing, said Anderson. How he has sacrificed for the truth. I think you'd admire him. Take care. The star signed the note with a heart and her first name, along with a shout out to West's wife Kim Kardashian for going #fur free. So I assume that's no more fur coats or anything.
Yeah, she's way anti-fur. Like, yeah, she hates that.
Right.
She hates fur stuff. She's big animal rights.
Right.
Yeah.
PETA.
Of course. I mean, that's who you look to, Pamela Anderson, as your moral conscience for society.
West has recently been very vocal about, quote, free thought and has caused controversy after he implied that slavery was a choice for African Americans during an interview on TMZ Live on May the 1st.
Now, I've listened and read that. I don't think that's exactly what he was intending to say,
It definitely came out that way.
But it came out that way.
Right.
I think what he was saying is, in the years since slavery was abolished, that people who are still feel like
there are some people
enslaved.
who won't move forward.
Right, yeah.
Which I would like to say it wasn't that long ago
No,
on the historical
on the historical
time scale.
Very, very
It's
short
been pretty
time.
recent.
Yeah, right.
So I don't know if it's maybe 100% fair to say that,
Right.
well, you can't move forward. I mean,
Right.
because, your grandparents grew up during the civil rights movement.
Right. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
So-
people forget that.
Yeah.
We'll sit around and talk about remembering the Alamo for forever, but then the first time somebody's like, well, civil rights,
that was
hurt,
long
set us back.
ago.
You're like,
That was
you
a
need
long
to
time
move
ago.
past that,
Yeah.
No, you need to get over that. You're just making it worse. I don't understand that logic, but some people hold those views. Kanye, I guess, being one.
I guess so. Well, though Anderson has remained coy about the nature of their relationship, she called Assange one of my favorite people in one of her many lengthy posts on her website. As for their conversations, Anderson told THR that they often cover a variety of topics. We talk about everything. We talk about the Bible. We talk about what's happening with my kids, what's happening with my family.
Time out. So Kanye and Pam are having like a Bible study?
This is Assange and Pamela Anderson.
Okay, all right, okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's still kind of surprising.
That still catches you off guard,
A
don't
little
it? You didn't
Bible
expect
study.
that.
You think they're going through a Beth Moore thing, or something like that?
I think it's probably Song of Solomon, but that's just me. Anyway, she recalled, "It's not just about politics, even though I do take a lot of notes, and it's so overwhelming, the information that he gives me." Anderson also shared that she's worried for Assange by telling THR that she believes he is in, quote, grave danger.
Okay.
"He's cut off from everybody," said Anderson, adding that she was even denied access to see him during a trip to London in April. She continued, "The air and light quality at the Ecuadorian embassy in London is terrible because he can't keep his windows open and he can't get any sunlight. Even prisoners can go outside, but he can't." Anderson, who is a vegan activist, also revealed that she brings Assange food. "I'm always bringing him vegan food, but he eats very simply," said Anderson. "I talked to him on the phone the day that his internet was shut off, and he sent me an urgent call, and now she's heard nothing." So,
well, you know what it is. She said he eats very simply. He don't like that vegan stuff.
Dude, that's disgusting.
probably.
You have to bring it in like a salad, and he just wants like a fried chicken leg or something.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh yeah, take a few bites." Well, I'm a very simple eater. This isn't really my taste, but yeah. So that's what that's all about.
So what's your take on Julian Assange? I kind of have mixed feelings myself.
I would say that was exactly how I was gonna characterize it. I have mixed feelings too. Now, number one, I think the more information we know about what our government is doing is probably for the better, because a lot of times our government's not on the up and up.
It's
know?
true.
But I also have a problem with publishing things that may endanger
Other people's
lives. Yeah. And just, there may be a point in time that you have to make a decision. Okay, I have to hold this back, because if I don't, I'm going to get service members killed or, agents, FBI, CIA, whatever agents killed. But as far as the NSA collecting every bit of data we ever have, and all the emails from Hillary's campaign, which was really great. I loved those, reading them, because they were just fun. They were just fun, interesting to see what they thought.
Right.
And
also super, super sketchy that Hillary was getting debate questions before the debate, and Bernie Sanders wasn't.
Right. Oh, they railroaded Bernie.
They pretty much showed all of America what we already knew.
Yeah,
Hillary had that nomination from day one.
From the day
Bernie never had a chance.
Right. Yeah.
And
I think when a lot of people found that out, that probably would have supported Hillary if they had not known that, then they didn't. They probably sat home and didn't vote at all, because they couldn't vote for Trump.
A lot of people say that that's really what factors into a lot of elections. It's not so much, you're not trying to win the other people, you're trying to get them to stay home.
Right.
Because a hardcore conservative is never going to vote for a liberal candidate, even if Donald Trump runs.
Yes, yeah.
So
No.
the goal is not to sway them to your side. The goal is to get them to stay home that day.
Right. Yeah. No, you're right, and that's what happened with Romney when he ran for president.
Right.
A conservative stayed home. That's what happened when McCain ran. Conservative stayed home. They didn't like those people for different reasons, but and that's of course McCain. There was no way he was going to beat Obama ever. I mean, I don't care what you think. He could have gotten, whoever you want to pick. He could have gotten Prince when he was alive to be his running mate instead of Sarah Palin. He wasn't winning that election.
Hillary could have run that. Well, I mean, I know she got beat by Obama then, but if she had scrapped through the primaries, she would have probably won that election.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a tough candidate. That's one of the most impressive things about Donald Trump, whether you like him or not. He came in a political newbie, and won a presidential election with very little financing, and just basically insulted his way to the top. And Hillary Clinton has been a part of 4 presidential campaigns. She count her husband, a senatorial campaign. She's a seasoned politician. She had a war chest of all these millions of dollars, and Donald Trump broke her. I mean, that's one of the most amazing things ever. People, you can love or hate him, but you got to look back and go, the dude did it when all the odds were against him. So,
well, anyway, back on topic, real quick. I just want to say, what could Kanye do that Pamela Anderson is asking him for help to save Assange?
I don't know.
I mean,
maybe Kanye's in the Illuminati, and he can pull some Illuminati strings.
The only thing I could think he could possibly do is if Donald Trump ever goes to another press conference, he just walks up on stage and grabs the mic, and he's like, Trump, I'm really happy for you. And I know you don't like the media, but Julian Assange has published some of the best independent journalism I have ever seen.
I like it. Well, yeah, I mean, and a lot of people attribute Assange and all those emails to really helping Trump out. And I would think, what it would have to be is Trump or Sessions ultimately would have to drop whatever charges against him and let him come to the United States.
Right.
So maybe, yeah, she's hoping Kanye has Trump's ear.
But if that happens and he gets over the United States, the first thing they're going to do is extradite him back to Sweden.
Right, yes. That's true.
Because they could just be like, okay,
Yeah.
we're not going to go after you.
Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah, I guess you could grant him like political asylum or something like that.
I don't see him getting that here in America, though.
Do you know that James Brown?
I don't care how many rappers support him.
Do you know that James Brown once applied for political asylum because he had like a bunch of like charges against him, and he claimed that his title was the Godfather of Soul, and that's why he should be able to get it to be granted political asylum.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, one time I think he did a bunch of PCP, like beat up his wife, drove around,
Right.
Something like that, and they were going to prosecute him, deservedly so. And
Right.
He's like, no, I
need political asylum.
I need political asylum. I'm the Godfather of Soul. Right?
That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, got to give it a shot, I guess.
Oh, gracious.
Okay, let's move along here. This comes to us from Fox News. Bobcats mistaken for domestic kittens brought into Texas home.
Whoops.
Yeah, I have a bobtail cat. That's why I was happy about this. 3 people in Texas were bitten when the kittens they thought they were handling turned out to be bobcats.
Oh, no.
Hey, listen, wrote the city's animal care services on Facebook. Wildlife really should remain in the wild, and it's up to us to help make that happen. These bobcat kittens are now orphaned and under quarantine with our partners at Wildlife Rescue and Rehabilitation because someone thought they looked like house cats. Several people were bitten. Which the pictures of them, they're precious looking, precious little bobcat kittens. Now they're going to grow up and eat your face off.
Yeah.
The caretakers thought the cats found in Atacosca County, I guess that's how you say it, were Bengal kittens, a rare domestic breed, and brought them inside a nearby home. The bobcats were fed milk from pet feeding bottles, but those who took them in reportedly realized something was wrong when the hungry animals tore the bottles apart and bit them. Animal control was called, and Wildlife Rescue Rehabilitation took the cats in where they remain quarantined. San Antonio's Animal Care Services is working with Texas State Parks and Wildlife to investigate potential criminality of the animals' capture and relocation. So, I mean, that's just like Bubba and Jane wandering around out in the woods and they run up on a bobcat bed, I guess, or whatever you call it.
Oh, kitty.
Oh, look at these kitties. Mama's off hunting for them or whatever, going to kill another small animal. And you're like, oh, let's get these kids. Oh, kitty. Oh, I lost my eye.
Yes.
But, when we got our bobtail cat, which we got 2 Christmases ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 2 Christmases ago. I did some research because I was like, well, I mean, did a bobcat like mate with a house cat? I don't know.
It has happened.
Yeah, I would imagine so. And but no, they're not part of the bobcat, a domesticated bobtail. It's not part of the bobcat family. Now they are.
Bummer.
Yeah, they're kind of crazy cats though. Like our cat's always into stuff. She can fetch. By the way, my daughter taught her how to fetch. She will come when I whistle for her.
It doesn't impress me that she can fetch. It impresses me that she does fetch.
Yeah. I can whistle and she'll come to me, just like a dog. They're cool cats. If you ever get a chance to own a bobtail cat, I would recommend it because they're fun. But you don't want to own a bobcat because
that's wild.
Yeah.
Right.
You talk about your couch getting clawed up, they're ripping stuffing out and everything. And if you see a wild kittens with no tails out in the woods.
It's a good chance that they're not for your house.
They're not. You don't need to pick them up and bring them on in. Right. So let's let nature do nature things. So, but I think it's funny. It's like
let the bobcats bobcat.
Yeah, let bobcats do bobcat things. They don't need to be domesticated. We got plenty of other house cats that you can have and raise and love. if you're a cat person, which I'm neither a cat person nor a dog person. I like both.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get why we have to pick sides. You know,
Right.
Like if you like cats, dog people be like, "Oh, you're horrible. How can you have a cat?"
I was going to say, I respect your opinion, but you're wrong.
I don't know. I don't get it. Why can't I like both of them?
You can. You're just wrong.
I don't have to pick a side. They're both awesome in their own way. See, a dog,
Right.
A dog to me will let you know when somebody comes in your yard. But
That's the purpose of our dog.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you have a cat though, if someone steps foot on your property and your dog doesn't know it, your cat will let you know, because your cat will like run from the window to the window, whatever, and it'll let you know without alerting that person that they're there, because your cat ain't
Really?
gonna bark.
Well, I have to be honest. I mean, your cat sounds awesome, but
It's
the
pretty
cats
awesome
that
cat.
I've had have kind of just had this, screw you mentality.
Yeah. Well, I actually.
I've never had a cat warn me that somebody was around.
For real?
Yeah.
So, like, if your cat's inside and somebody comes up, it doesn't, like, run and hide or run and look or whatever? It just sits
No,
there?
it just kind of slips away like a ninja.
Exactly. That's where you got to pay
Vanishes.
attention. That's what
Okay,
it's
well,
doing.
maybe that's on me.
Right.
Maybe that's on me.
You just got to know. But, first of all, Holly, our bobtail cat, is a great cat, has nothing on the greatest cat to ever live, the cat we had before that, which is Julius the Wonder Cat. Cat was awesome. And that cat was mean, and it hated everybody. Every person except
Right.
me. It loved me, hated everybody else. It would bite you, and it would claw you, and it would fight you. But that cat was bad. It was awesome. It would hurt you, and it had no claws. I'll just say that much about it. And I felt like it would stick up for me if somebody were to come in and try to hurt me.
Okay.
But if someone killed me, it would, of course, eat me.
Of course, now it wouldn't care about Deidre or any of the kids.
No. Well, that's all. We're looking out for number one here. All right. I'll take care of my family, but I need the cat to
cat
help
to take
me.
care of you.
Yeah.
Cat's got your back. You got everybody else's back.
I miss my cat, man. I miss Julius. He was an awesome cat.
Well-
Built him an Indian mound, by the way. That's where he's buried, in an Indian mound behind my house. So.
Well, if I knew of a pet cemetery somewhere where we could go and put him and get him back for you, I would do it.
Nah, I don't want a demon cat. Nah. But I got my memories. I got my
Yeah,
pictures
yeah.
of him on Facebook where he's like attacking my face and everything. I'll put that up one day once my Mother's Day picture is worn out. No,
That's a hilarious picture, by the
it
way.
is. It is. It made a lot of people laugh.
All right, well, back on track here. Now that we've discussed the cats versus dogs rivalry,
Yes.
we have a
huge rivalry. It's like Alabama and Auburn in the pet world. It really is.
It kind of is, yeah.
And so I get picking sides. All right. Anyways, go ahead.
Canadian Zoo faces charges after taking a bear out for ice cream at Dairy Queen.
Okay. I wonder if he got a selfie with him.
I would like to point out this is a very Canadian story.
It's extremely Canadian.
Our brothers and sisters in the Great White North.
Yes.
Here we
yes.
go.
Got a review from Canada, by the way. We'll get
do.
to that
We'll
later.
get to that.
Yeah.
A private zoo in the Canadian province of Alberta is facing charges after a bear from the facility was taken through a drive-through Dairy Queen in a pickup truck and hand-fed ice cream through the vehicle's window.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
News of the outing emerged earlier this year after Discovery Wildlife Park, located about 70 miles north of Calgary in the town of Istisvale, posted a video on social media showing the captive Kodiak bear sitting in the passenger seat of a truck. The video later showed the 1-year-old bear, known as Berkeley, leaning out of the truck's window, enthusiastically licking an ice cream cone held by the owner of a local Dairy Queen.
Well, oh man, there's no way I'd be like, let me feed this bear. I just wouldn't do it. I don't want to get killed.
Amid widespread criticism, the video, along with a second one showing Berkeley licking frosting off an ice cream cake, was taken down. At the time, the zoo said the drive-through run had posed no danger to the public, as it had taken place before Dairy Queen had opened for the day, and that the bear had been secured by a chain through the entire outing. Wildlife officials in Alberta said that the zoo and its owners are now facing 2 charges. Under the terms and conditions of the zoo's permit, the charges are directly related to the alleged failure of the park to notify the provincial government prior to the bear leaving the zoo, Alberta Fish and Wildlife said in a statement. One count stems from the bear's jaunt through the drive-thru, while the other dates back to 2017.
Oh, they're habitual line steppers.
At the time, Berkeley had just arrived as an orphan from a facility in the United States, and the zoo allegedly failed to inform officials the 7-pound bear was being taken home nightly so that she could be bottle-fed. So the bear's an American. Bear's American, and she was, I guess, crossing the border to be bottle fed, and they never told anybody, but they were supposed to. I suppose.
I guess. I don't know.
I wonder if that I wonder if that charge would stem from American or Canadian authorities.
Oh, probably Canadians. I don't know. I'd imagine our bear law is probably pretty lax compared to Canada's. They probably do a little bit more to take care of their bears.
Probably. We made a mistake. I'm embarrassed about it, he told The Guardian. Every time we take an animal off the property, we're supposed to notify Fish and Wildlife, send them an email, and we forgot to do that in both instances.
Oh, okay.
Which an email, that's not that big a deal. No. They're not even going to see it and reply to it. Yeah. You just gotta get that thing sent off. You can do it from your smartphone.
Yeah, so I was going to say, do it on the trip down there. Stopped at a red light.
Yeah. You put the bear in the truck, and then as you're out the driveway, just hit send.
Taking him to get some ice cream.
He said that he had been happy to hear of the charges. I'm glad they followed through with it because it shows how strictly regulated the zoo industry is in the province, he said. Because there are so many people out there and think it's not. They think anybody can just do anything they want. Well, maybe the reason they think that is because you did just do what you wanted to do. You put a bear in a truck and you took him out for ice cream.
Right. You went to Dairy Queen with him.
Boss said that wildlife officials had not necessarily taken issue with the bear's outing to Dairy Queen, but rather the zoo's failure to request permission beforehand. That's all we did wrong, he added, noting that the bears have been taken off property many times for a range of reasons. We've done lots of TV commercials. We've done Super Bowl commercials with bears and food. Some of them, the bear was in a grocery store and wandering up and down the aisles, which wouldn't you love to be shopping in the grocery store and then a bear just turned the corner?
Well, I don't know that I would love that, but, I respect it if you do. Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't like it to happen to me.
If I turn the corner and there's a bear there, it's going to be like clean up on aisle 5 because I'm wetting my pants. I'm not a bear fan. I don't mess with bears. I don't think they're cute.
I like bears, but bears are to be respected and admired from afar.
Yes,
that's my take on bears.
It's like, everybody thinks panda bears are cute and stuff,
Well, they're cute until they're, trying to pull you through the fence.
So I try to remind my kid, I'm like, that's still a bear and it will kill you. It will eat you and it will have no remorse.
He emphasized the difference between bears in the wild and the zoo's bears, describing those in the facility as hand-raised and well-trained. Well, I'm sure they are, but they're still a bear.
That's right.
And at any time, they still got those instincts, and they could just turn like that.
I'm not a gore guy. I don't like gore and stuff, but I did stumble upon a compilation of trained bears attacking people, like on news shows and stuff. The Birmingham news station brings Jim on with this bear. And they're sitting there, and the bear's, sitting up eating an apple. And next thing you know, it starts biting the newscaster.
Yikes.
It was quite funny, by the way. It was just, I don't know. Maybe I have a weird sense of humor, but I thought it was funny.
It does sound kind of funny.
It is. And I'll try to send you a link. I'll find it again.
At one point, the zoo's bears had even learned to pee in a cup. Okay. Well, are you drug testing them?
I guess so.
He said, in order to participate in a Scottish veterinarian study aimed at measuring baseline norms for bears, these bears aren't just your average bear that will go snag out in the wild and do this. In light of the incident, provincial officials said they had also revised the conditions of the zoo's permit. The facility will now be required to provide more details when requesting permission to transport animals, and will have to keep the animals in a cage, crate, or kennel during transport. So that kind of stinks.
Well, I don't know. First of all,
it stinks for the bear. I'll put it that way.
For the bear.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's not going to want to go out and get ice cream anymore if you got to put him in a cage.
But I would like to know, like, the Dairy Queen manager or whatever who's reaching out, feeding him the ice cream. Like, you got some guts, I'd be like, no, man, I'm not. No. Let me hand the cone to you. You keep that window rolled up, and then you feed him, Pass it back like you do to your kids when you go through the drive-through.
This isn't Winnie the Pooh we got here.
Yeah, I don't want this thing grabbing a hold of my arm and pulling me out of this drive-through window. But maybe that's because I watched that bear compilation video. Maybe. I know the potential.
You ever seen Grizzly Man?
No, but you told me about it.
Yes.
And I know about it because the dude's like, oh, I love bears and they love me. And then
I used to have it on DVD. I wish I could find it. I really wish I could.
And then he gets eaten like at the end, right?
Yeah.
Because bears don't love you. They're just hanging out with you.
Well, they love you as long as there's adequate food source. But when there ceases to be adequate source of food, you become the source of food.
When the salmon head downstream, you need to get out of Dodge because they're coming for you.
Yeah.
They really got like a 5,000.
Ate him and his girlfriend, by the way.
Oh, of course.
Which is tragic, but I mean that's
like a
you kind of
2-for-1
were
deal.
asking for it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're camping out around grizzly bears, what did you think was going to happen?
And he would just walk up to him and like scratch him behind the ear and stuff.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah. And he was probably like, oh, they love me. You know, they know
I'm
me.
one with the bears.
Yeah, I'm one with
The
the
grizzly
bears. You definitely won with
Till they
them
get
now.
hungry.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm just saying, I don't go messing with bears. So. We don't have a big bear population around Tuscaloosa, Alabama, though, so I don't have that problem. You know, the only real bear we have is Bear Bryant. So
the great one.
the greatest bear of all. Yes, the
Roll
greatest
Tide.
bear of all. Okay, so the next story we have comes from azfamily.com. I guess it's Arizona Family. It is Arizona Family. It's not a guess, I know. Police department. Accused stalker sent 65,000 texts to man. Said she wanted to bathe in his blood.
Yikes.
Paradise Valley, Arizona. There's Paradise Valley, like probably top 10, zip code in America for places to live. It's super nice out there. What started as a potential relationship on a dating site ended in a stalking nightmare for one Paradise Valley man. Police say the victim met 31-year-old Jacqueline Claire Ads. That's how I'm going to go with it. Ads of Phoenix online and went on a date with her, but things quickly went awry. After the date, police said Ads began texting the man constantly, sending him more than 65,000 text messages. The victim told police sometimes she would send up to 500 texts a day. According to the police report, the messages included, and I'm going to say this lady, she's got some problems before we get in here.
Right.
Don't ever try to leave me. I'll kill you. I don't want to be a murderer.
Well, I would say that's a quick fix. Don't murder.
All right, let's move on to the next one. I hope you die, you rotten, filthy Jew. Oh,
What?
yeah. So she's not only crazy, she's racist. I'm like the new Hitler. Man was a genius.
Oh, dang.
And another one here. Let me skip down. Oh, what I would do with your blood. I want to bathe in it. So, also, police say Ads entered the victim's residence when he wasn't at home. According to the police report, Ads had a large butcher knife on the passenger seat of her car at the time. Ads also reportedly showed up at the victim's workplace claiming to be his wife.
Oh, man.
Paradise Valley police arrested her Tuesday, May 8th. She was booked into 4th Avenue Jail on threatening, stalking, harassment, and failure to appear charges. When detectives asked her about the threatening text messages, she said she did not want to hurt the victim because she loved him. She says she threatened him because she did not want him to leave. She's set to appear in court on the 15th, which is next week, and she's being held without bond. Now, if you look at her mugshot here, anyone would say she's got crazy eyes.
Right.
I mean, you can just look at her and tell she's not right. You know, that's a woman. That's a woman who thinks Hitler's a genius
and wants to bathe in your blood. Apparently.
You know, I'm all for love. I want everybody to be in love. I think it's a great thing. You know,
right.
I would say the online dating scene, which I have no clue how all that works, and I'm so glad. I'm so glad I don't have to get
Got
back
out
into
just
that
in
world.
time.
Right? Yeah. I mean, like if I go home and Deidre's left, you know, then I'll figure all that out. But it seems to be like your chances of hitting on somebody crazy is, you know, got to be pretty high. And he probably took her out for a nice dinner, you know, maybe walked her home, little kiss on the doorstep, see you later. Next thing you know, he's getting 500 texts a day from this woman.
Yikes.
I did some math last night when I read it, and it was like 21 texts per, you know, minute or something like that a day.
Is she texting him like one word?
I don't know.
You know, per sentence?
Yeah.
You know?
And I have friends who do. They text like very short texts, but it'll be like 50 texts, you know. I'm like, let me get it all in on one, and I'm sending it to you, and you read it, you know. Yeah. Try to keep it, you know, a couple, 3 sentences. So maybe it was that, you know, like, you know.
Well, I'll do that too, but that still sounds like a crazy amount of text.
It's an amazing amount of text. Like, I would have
She's
changed
taking
my number.
full benefit of the unlimited texting part of her plan.
Number one, and this would I would say, if you're going to get into online dating, first date, don't let them know where you live. You know, never.
That's good advice.
Yeah, never. Because she might show up and break into your house with a butcher knife or whatever.
Right.
Don't let them know where you work. You know, you can say industry. You know, like, oh, I'm in the furniture business. You don't have to tell them which furniture place.
Right.
You know, make it a little harder on them. Decrease your online presence so they can't trace you back and all that. Yeah. So
don't tell them if you're a podcaster, because they'll go leave tons of 1-star reviews.
That's right. Well, I was wondering, like, too, like, you think with the date, like, wrapped up, he got in the car, and he's like, wow, you know, that went kind of well. You know, I thought.
That went good.
Yeah, it went good. I'd be glad to talk to her, you know, give her a call. Wait a few days. Don't want to seem too anxious or anything.
Right.
Give her a call. Maybe go get some lunch or something one day during the week. And then his phone starts blowing up. Ba-ding.
I bet before he even got home.
You know it was. Had a great time.
Like he just left the driveway.
Yes. Yeah, had a great time. Ba-ding. Hitler was a genius. You're like, whoa, wait, what? Was that autocorrect?
Oh, man.
Okay, you know, I'm not a big fan of Hitler. Oh, you filthy Jew. You know what I mean? Like, man, this lady has got problems. I don't know. Maybe she apparently was going through a spell where she hadn't had a date in a while. She wanted to keep a man, but, you know.
But I know people who haven't been on a date in a while, and they're not calling Hitler a genius.
No.
You know,
not
the
texting
problem
you
is
65,000 times.
I think the problem is a little more serious than she had a date in a while.
No. Yeah, that's probably true. I mean,
and I'll even go so far as to say that, you know, the picture of her is, you know, her looks are not her problem.
Yeah, but she's not hard. She's not hideous. Yeah.
Apparently, her problem finding dates is she's an
crazy.
Anti-Semite.
That's exactly right.
That's the problem.
I mean, she's insane. Like, level 99 insane. You know, like she's like a top level.
Yeah.
65,000 texts. I would
She's
break
like
my phone.
Legend of Zelda boss.
I would break my phone. I would just be like, no.
You would go into hiding.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. She would
Tiny,
never
can I
see
sleep
me
on your couch tonight?
Never see me again. Like, look, I got to go dark for 3 months, guys. It'd take all my vacation time at work. I'm gone. You know, just go Eric Robert Rudolph on them all and just hit the woods. Nobody knows where I am.
You know. And I mean, I hate it for the other person, but maybe the best thing to do in this situation is set her up with somebody else.
That's right. Hey, you know what? I got a friend that's perfect for you.
Yes.
You know?
You just gotta pass the buck.
You know what? Hey, look, you know, I think you're a great girl. I had a great time on our date. I mean,
it's like the ring. Yeah. How do you get the ghost to not kill you? You show the video to somebody else, and now it's their problem.
Oh, you're great. You know, I really, really like all the stuff you're saying about Hitler, and I got a friend for you. You know,
yes.
And I will tell you what, I'm not in a place right now in my life where I feel like I could be in a relationship, but I have a buddy who would be perfect.
And I'm doing you a favor because my buddy is actually way better than me.
Oh yeah, no, better job, dude. Crazy Nazi, love the Nazis. Big time Nazi. So let me introduce you to him. Here's his number. Call him.
Oh gracious.
Yeah, that'd probably be the plan right there. Just got to put it off somebody else.
Well, speaking of crazy, our next story here. Druid witch stabbed by neighbor angry at his noisy pagan rituals.
Okay.
Yes.
You better keep it down over there.
A Druid witch was attacked and stabbed by his neighbors after they had enough of his pagan noisy rituals, a court heard. Mark and Ann Diner attacked John Bennett as he conducted his latest Black Garden ceremony, which involved chanting and rhythmic beating of drums, something he did every full moon.
Wow. That's pretty frequent.
Yes, pretty frequent. Yeah.
What was that, once a month? Twice a month, maybe?
Diner exchanged insults over the fence with Mr. Bennett, who goes by the pagan name Bearheart, which I will say that is a pretty cool name. Bearheart.
It is.
Before storming around his house with his wife, Ms. Diner, 52, armed herself with an umbrella, which she used to hit the bearded druid over the head, while her 56-year-old husband grabbed a carving knife from the kitchen and made a short jab with it towards his victim. Okay. Because Mr. Bennett weighs, you want to guess how much he weighs?
I'm gonna go 275.
Well, I don't know what the conversion rate here, but he weighs 22 stone.
22 stone.
Yes.
All right. I'm about to look Google it while you're talking.
Mr. Bennett, who weighs 22 stone and has a big belly, says the blade didn't penetrate his abdomen and he only suffered superficial injuries.
That's 308 pounds, by the way.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, he's a big one.
A court heard the Diners had never been in trouble with the police before the incident in Outer Holt, Dorset. Diner, a lorry driver, and his wife denied charges of unlawfully wounding, but were found guilty following a trial at Bournemouth Crown Court. They were handed suspended prison sentences by a judge who recognized that they had become frustrated at the intolerable noises coming yet again from their neighbor's garden.
Yeah.
But fellow residents spoke of the strange noises and smells that sometimes wafted from Mr. Bennett's garden. One neighbor who didn't want to be named said, quote, "We sometimes heard odd, not normal music and smells like joss sticks and things. John has a personalized number plate for his car that says 666, which is a bit worrying."
Yeah.
Which means he's a witch. What do you expect?
Yeah. You're a witch. I guess you're going to personalize. You got to throw 666 in there.
I think he's quite open about saying he's a witch. And Mark.
Aren't they warlocks? Like, if you're a dude, aren't you a warlock? I don't know how that works.
Right.
I'm not up on my pagan stuff.
I saw a movie called Warlock one time.
Yeah. I thought a male witch was a warlock.
I think so, but
I guess your average.
maybe it's just too technical.
Yeah, it's your average baby boomer doesn't know.
Right.
You're all witches. Yeah.
Yeah. Ann and Mark's home is behind John's garden, and it sits up higher, so it's effectively looking over his garden. I think that made the noise levels a lot worse, but we didn't know exactly what had gone on. The court heard the Diners move to Hillbury Park, a semi-retirement residential park, in February 2017 for a peaceful and tranquil life. Their 150-pound property backs up to Mr. Bennett's home that he shared with his pagan partner, Sarah Hathaway. The couple are members of the clan of the Perrault, which are inspired by ancient Druids who practiced alchemy in the Welsh mountains. Today, members hold public and private rituals called sabbats at the time of a full moon, solstices, and equinoxes. The Diners took exception to the disturbances from Mr. Bennett's property. They had complained to the park owners about the rituals, but had never spoken directly to Mr. Bennett until the evening of November 4th last year. Judge Jonathan Fuller said, "You, Ms. Diner, complained to your husband about the noise coming from Mr. Bennett's garden. He was performing a full moon ceremony, which pagans are inclined to do once a month. It involves incantations and the rhythmic beating of drums. I'm quite satisfied it was Ms. Diner who prompted the initial exchange over the fence, which soon escalated to insults and threats being traded on both sides. Both sides went back into their respective homes to avoid further conflict, and it simply should have ended there. But a few minutes later, each of you left your home to go round to Mr. Bennett's, you and Ms. Diner with an umbrella and Mr. Diner with a carving knife. The court heard more insults were traded at Mr. Bennett's garden gate, allowing Ms. Diner to hit the Druid with her brawly. I assume that's the umbrella.
Yeah, umbrella.
The judge said, you, Ms. Diner, set about him with your umbrella, striking him on his head. This resulted in 2 lacerations that caused immediate bleeding. He did no more than push you to one side. It would be understandable if it was with some degree of force. Within moments, you, Mr. Diner, were also involved. You punched out towards him in the stomach area, thereby causing a wound to his abdomen. He, on seeing the knife, then tried to disarm you. He grabbed the knife from you, but not before receiving some other minor injuries. Throughout the struggle, Miss Diner continued to strike him with the umbrella, seemingly thinking her husband needed protection from the man who was in fact trying to disarm him.
There you go. That's a good woman right there. Yeah. Don't let up. That's right.
The fracas was witnessed by Mr. Bennett's partner, Samantha Hathaway, who became distraught at seeing blood. Which, if you're a witch, come on, you see blood all the time.
That's like a normal thing. Yeah.
I'm surprised you weren't over there with some kind of bowl trying to collect it for some kind of
you gonna burn it.
Some kind of solstice ritual or something. Judge Fuller said the depth of the injury is unclear. Suffice to say, Mr. Bennett is a 22-stone man of very big build with a big belly. The knife went in sufficiently far to penetrate the abdominal muscle, but not the pectoral cavity. Thomas Evans defended Mr. Diner, and the incident was completely out of character for his client. He said, this is a man who has long lived a fruitful life without causing any problems whatsoever. He has never acted in the way which he did that day. It was a moment of madness born out through a developing situation with his neighbor. They initially tried to deal with it in the correct manner. Letters and complaints had been sent, but when that didn't work, they took matters into their own hands in a completely inappropriate manner. Judge Fuller said he accepted neither the Diners had intended to do serious harm to their neighbor. He sentenced Mr. Diner to 10 months in prison, suspended for a year, and 130 hours of unpaid work, and Ms. Diner to a 6-month suspended sentence with 100 hours of unpaid work. He told them, you are...
It's only 30 more hours for stabbing, by the way. Just keep that in mind if you're over there. Right, yeah. I mean, that's like one more week. That's one more week of work. I got it.
He told them... You are of previous good character. You had gone to Hillberry Park for the tranquility and had no doubt led blameless and hardworking lives up until this particular point. This was clearly out of temper and frustration at the intolerable noises coming yet again from your neighbor's garden.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, first of all, his wife got all this stirred up. You know, that's number one. I'm sure he was like, you know, they're sitting around reading in the evening. Old boy starts up with his pagan drums and everything. His wife's like, yeah, right. His wife's like, you need to go over there and say something to him. He's like, no, honey, it'll be done in about 45 minutes. Just be cool, you know. And then she goes out there and starts hollering at him over the fence. And
next thing you know,
you're stabbing a guy in the gut while your wife beats you with the umbrella. So, but I mean, I could get it. I mean, if you got loud neighbors, it's rough. You know, that's the worst. We lived in an apartment when we first got married, and Deidre's working night shift then, and our neighbors, which it was like a step up. Our apartment was 2 stories, and then there was like a step up. So the next person's porch was right at our bedroom window, and they were like college kids, and they'd sit out there and drink, and holler, and do what college kids stuff do.
Right.
And you know, there's several times where they're like, you need to go, you know, like, they need to be quiet. And I'm laying there in bed like, man, I don't want to go get in a fight. You know, like, I don't want to get in a fight.
The noise is annoying, but it'd be way more annoying to...
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get whipped by a bunch of college kids right here. Yeah, but you want to stick up for your wife, you know. And one time she raised the window up and asked them to be quiet. Just like, hey, I'm trying to sleep, got work, you know.
I was going to say,
I work
I
all
can
night,
imagine
whatever.
Deidre, you know, shouting out the window, could y'all please...
Yeah. Now, I don't know what is nice as that.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I've never seen her get upset about anything.
So. She get upset on you. I just say, she get upset. She got a temper, you know. Not as bad as mine. I have a really bad temper, but I have a really long fuse.
Right.
She has a shorter fuse and not as bad of a temper.
Okay.
So we balance each other out.
Right.
But yeah, so I can get it. You know, your wife will talk you into a fight every now and then. You know, you need to go up there and say something to somebody, you know, and you're just like, I don't want to do that. Let's just be cool for a while. And then you got to go over. And she took an umbrella. You know, like that lady's like, I'm coming to do some damage with my umbrella. He had to get a knife. You know, I guess he's like, I better get a knife because this is a big old guy and he may whip me. Right. And my wife's about to hit him with an umbrella. So he had to do something.
And he's a witch, by the way.
Yeah, and he's a witch.
He's got 666 on his car.
I mean, why did he just cast a spell on these people, like a no-hearing spell or something, and then he can do his little ceremony and everybody be happy, you know? And I guarantee I'll be planting some shrubs and all kind of big tall bushes to help keep that.
You know what you do in the situation? You take a play out of the old Baptist playbook, and you go and you get your hymns and you get your speakers and you cut them all the way up and you play that third verse of Just As I Am over and 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 over again.
Yeah, you're better
That's
than
how
me.
you deal with it.
I was thinking when you started that sentence, you know, like, you know what you do in this situation? I was thinking burn them at the stake.
Well, yeah, that's
burn them at the stake. Be done with it. That'd be the first thing I would say to him.
Charge them with heresy.
Yeah. Listen, I'm going to burn you at the stake if you don't keep these drums quiet.
We're fixing to tie stones to you and throw you in the lake to see if you float. Because witches float.
That's right. Yes. Yeah, I don't know. You were a little better, but that's true. You like get a, you know, whatever Cathedrals album and just play it over and over and over again, and or like a
and you just
Chris Tomlin.
You just have one of those classic 1 hour and 45-minute invitations right there in your backyard aimed right at him.
That's what I would have. Everybody, Sunday school class. All right, full moon tonight, guys. Come over, having a garden party. We're going to do and you get like a loudspeaker, you know. I'm on everybody's head bows, eyes closed right now, and he's just over there banging at the drums. That'd be great.
And you're like, if you have accepted Jesus, if you just prayed that prayer I just prayed, beat your drums.
Everybody beat your drums. Man, why can't I live by a witch? Well, I tell you what, you would. I mean, you know, I know as England's not as Protestant as it used to be, but
right.
You know, they're at a great falling away, you know, so to speak. But I mean, if you're not giving that dude a Bible tract once a week, you're not being a good neighbor. You know? Just stop by, like, hey, witchy man, here, I just want to. Billy Graham wrote this tract here, and I want you to check this out, you know. And
you heard of the 4 spiritual laws?
That's right. If you were to die today, do you know where you would go? You know,
because I do.
Yeah, because I do. Yeah, it's just tough. Got to be tough living next to a witch.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
I've lived next to a few ladies I thought were witches, but
they didn't beat drums.
Yeah, they didn't beat
and chant at the full moon.
They were just mean. They're just mean.
Right.
Just mean old ladies. All right, our next story here. Richard Remy, 51 of Fort Dodge, was taken to the hospital Wednesday with what was fortunately not a serious injury. You know what happened?
I don't.
Quote from Remy here says, "My dog shot me."
Oh, no.
Yes. Police and the Unity Point Health Trinity Regional Medical Center were called to Remy's home at about 10:50 a.m. according to Fort Dodge Police. "I carry," Remy said, "it's a Ruger 9mm and it's got a safety on it. I was laying on the couch and we were horsing around, me and the dog, and I was tossing him off my lap, and he was jumping back on my lap. And I carry in a belly band under my bib overalls." And apparently he bumped the safety one time.
He paints such a beautiful picture. I know exactly what's going on here.
Yep. And apparently he bumped the safety one time, and when he bounded back over, one of his toes went right down onto the trigger guard. But here, this guy's a responsible gun owner. It has a trigger safety as well as a thumb safety, and he managed to hit both of them, and it discharged and went into my leg. Did no major damage to anything. Fort Dodge Police Chief Roger Porter told the same story. He said investigating officers found Remy was home alone with his dog Baloo, and and were told about the accidental discharge. He has a license to carry and a license for the gun. "It was a freak thing," Porter said. "I've never heard of that," he said. "I've heard of guns dropping and going off on the floor and horsing around and guns going off. I can't say I've heard a dog story before." Remy says guns aren't toys and they can go off. All it takes is a little pressure on the hammer or trigger to let it go. Baloo the dog was upset afterwards. Remy said, the dog's a big wuss. The poor dog laid down beside me and cried because he thought I was in trouble for doing, or thought he was in trouble for doing something wrong. He's a pit lab mix. He's afraid of the dark. He's afraid of water.
This sounds like the victim taking up for their abuser
right
here.
Yes. Remy didn't even feel the shot in his leg at first. He only felt a painful burn on his belly initially. Then he saw his pant leg was turning purple. I was looking around to see where it went to, and I realized it went in my leg. That's when I called 911. He was released from the hospital that afternoon and checked in with the VA. They want me to follow up later with the surgeon to see if later we need to possibly look at removing the bullet. So the bullet's still in him, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, well.
Yikes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. Pit bulls get a bad rap anyways.
Yeah.
Now they're shooting us.
I was gonna say.
I don't know, man. I mean,
that dog is a thug.
Yeah. I can get you, if you want to carry, you want to be prepared, you want to have it on you all the times. But when you're laying on the couch in your bib overalls, you can probably just set it over on the end table and you'll be able to get to it quick enough if something bad were to happen.
Also, Uncle Mike's is like, holster kryptonite. Please don't use that. Get something that's quality that's going to cover the trigger guard.
Yeah, you want to get a good holster.
I know people are tired of hearing me say the rules of gun safety, but rule number 3, you keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot.
What is the rule for your dog's paw going on the trigger, though?
Well, I would say the dog broke rule number 3.
That's right.
he put his paw on the trigger when he was not ready to shoot.
Well, I was just saying, the dog might not have been as accidental. The dog may be like, look, I don't like that food you got me.
Yes.
When you going to get me back on that Alpo? I'm tired of this, whatever Purina you got. I want the good stuff. So
That dog's like, if you don't give me some Caesar dog food,
That's right.
like Fifi down the road gets, I'm going to bust a cap in your leg.
Yeah, man, I don't know. That's rough. I'd say, cat dog debate.
Cat, you've never been shot by a cat?
Never been shot by a cat. Yeah. We haven't had a story of a cat shooting anyone, so I'll just say that.
Well, our last story of the day comes from denverpost.com, and it is Snowmass man whose roommates drew phallic symbols on his face pleads guilty to starting their garage on fire.
Wow.
Judge calls retaliation significantly out of proportion. Here we go. A 25-year-old Snowmass Village man pleaded guilty to felony arson Monday and was sentenced to 2 years probation for setting a fire to retaliate against a roommate who drew phallic symbols on his face after he passed out.
Wow.
Stephen Elmore pleaded guilty to fourth-degree arson in exchange for a plea deal that calls for the felony conviction to be wiped from his criminal record if he stays out of trouble for the duration of his probation. According to the police affidavit filed in Picton County District Court, Elmore discovered the drawings and confronted one of the men present, though Elmore's female roommate eventually admitted that she, in fact, drew the symbols on his face. Elmore then went downstairs to his room next to the garage and lit the garage on fire.
Oh, man. Teach y'all a lesson.
The drawings on Mr. Elmore's face were reprehensible and not to be condoned, District Judge Chris Selden said Monday, but the retaliation was significantly out of proportion.
Yeah.
Elmore told the judge that he's quit drinking and he's feeling healthy and he is trying to look at this incident positively and that he would like to move forward as a good citizen.
I'm sure he would.
So,
all right, rule number 1, if you're drinking with a group of people, don't be the first one to pass out. That's rule
Dave
number 1.
Chappelle said it best. Don't ever pass out around your white friends because they are going to do some messed up stuff to you.
That's exactly right.
When he said that, I was like, he is absolutely right.
Yeah.
Why do we do that?
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it either. And luckily enough, old John, back when I used to drink, none of my friends, we weren't like that.
Right.
We were just like to have fun. We didn't want to do anything damaging to anybody, draw stuff on you or, But we weren't like that. So I never had a friend set that were like that. So I've never been drawn on before. Yeah. But I don't know that I would burn up a garage. Yeah. What I would do is just wait for you to pass out, and then I would get you back.
I tell you what, I bet they don't draw on him no more.
No, yeah, not at all.
I mean, I'm not saying this is right. In fact, Jesus says we should just turn the other cheek. But growing up, I was always like, hey, you get me one time, I'm bringing everything.
Yeah, right.
I'm
that way too. I'm not a prank guy. I've never been a prank guy. I mean, just leave me out of it.
I'll be the one that's going to take it too far.
Yeah, right. Because I know me, and I'll try to ruin your life. I mean, like you did something a little lighthearted prank on me, and I'm trying to get you fired from your job and you and your wife divorced. I can't. I mean, that's just how I am. So just keep me out of it. You want to hit some community news?
Let's do it. You want to talk about Cajun Curl?
Yeah, let's hit Cajun Curl. Cajun Curl, Bayou blended spices. It's great. Great on everything. I've put it on anything imaginable. You posted a picture of some scallops you made.
I did.
Man, they look so tasty. And
they
good.
were so delicious.
Yeah, right. I know. I had a bottle of what I thought was wine at first glance.
it was sparkling white grape juice.
Oh, the preacher hollered at us. But I mean, there's so many different uses for it. It's all natural, no preservatives, made locally. I mean, it's a perfect spice. Everyone that I've recommended it to who's tried it has called me back and said this stuff is amazing. And that's not a lie.
And you will too if you try it.
I mean, that's Scout's honor. I promise people have said that to me. I can't recommend it enough to people. It's perfect. Getting here to the tail end of crawfish season, so you need to go ahead and get some. Load up for your bowls because it's going to change your life, really. It will change the way you look at the world. And I don't know, that may be a reach, but it's good. It's doggone good. I'll just
right
say
up
that
to
much.
that.
Yeah.
There are people who will change their lives are that bad that it is life changing.
If you're a 305-pound pagan and you putting this on whatever you're eating, it's going to change your outlook. It really is. So I just recommend Cajun Curl, CajunCurl.com. Can't talk about it enough. It's great. We thank them for their friendship and partnership here with Earth Oddity Podcast. And check it out. Made by a really couple good guys. So they're good folks, and it's good stuff. Taste the spice, not the heat.
That's right.
Yeah. CajunCurl.com.
So anyway, as we've said, we're doing some reviews.
Right.
And we are going to focus on our international reviews today.
Right. Because, we've said over the, this guy, we got a listener in Great Britain or what, and y'all probably thought we were kidding, but we really do. We figured out how to read reviews.
Yes. Anybody out there, any podcaster worth their salt already knows how to switch what section of iTunes you're in. Yeah. I thought it was all the same thing. It's not. There's 120 different iTunes stores for different countries.
We've just now become podcasters worth our salt.
Yes.
18 episodes in.
and we figured out how to go looking up, and we've got a few reviews from other countries.
That's right.
So
we're worldwide, international, and we
absolutely
want to thank our international listeners. If I knew another language, I would say that in another language, but I don't.
Right.
I only know English, and I don't know it well. So you want to go first?
Yes, I will take our Canadian review. So this comes from our brothers and sisters in the Great White North.
That's right, where they'll take a bear through a Dairy Queen drive-through in a heartbeat.
Yes, they will. It feels like you're just hanging out with these two, 5 stars. This comes from Jay Kahat, and this is in Canada. This podcast is great. I started with the Chinese funeral episode and laughed out loud several times.
That's
the topics are hilarious, and I like how the show moves from story to story so that even those of us with the shortest attention spans can enjoy. Can't wait to listen to more episodes. Thank you so much. I would also like to point out that this is a fellow podcaster.
Yeah, okay.
She has a podcast called Pearls from My Mom, and this is right around Mother's Day.
That's right.
So if anybody wants to listen to
I follow her page on Facebook.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I follow a lot of podcast pages. That's one of them.
Thank you so much, Ms. Kahat.
Yeah. Well, we love our Canadian brothers.
She also
and
reviewed
sisters.
us on Facebook, too, by the way.
Boom.
So
oh, man.
we love you.
Yeah.
And we love your show.
A big old warm hug from Alabama
Yes.
to y'all guys up there.
And up in Canada, they need warm hugs.
They do.
Because it's so cold.
I'll tell you what, though, they got their syrup game on
They
point.
do.
I mean, it's number one. Now, I don't know. I would just like to say to everyone from Canada, you need to try some Golden Eagle. And I'll put that up against anybody.
Yeah.
From our hometown in Fed, Alabama. It is great.
It is pretty good.
Yeah. But, I mean, they got their syrup going on up there. I've been to Canada a couple times. So, our next one comes from Agency 11. And this is from New Zealand.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. New Zealand. We're huge down there. They love us in New Zealand.
Outside the United States, that is the country where we have the most downloads.
That's right.
So,
well, I'm going to tell you why. And this is just a couple months old, really about a month old. The title is With a Dinosaur Puppet as My Witness, harkening back to the swearing-in ceremony.
Yes.
I swear this is a legitimately funny podcast. Two good friends discuss the strange news of the week and provide color commentary. It's an easy way to spend an hour. The rambling aside deserve a special mention for their hilarity and candor. We all have our own trailer outside of Auburn.
even in New Zealand.
That's right. And then I love this. It's the only podcast I have ever shared.
Well, thank you so much.
Dude, yes. Or man or woman. Agency 11's kind of a gender neutral online handle. But thank you so much.
Thank
man.
you.
We love you. I love New Zealand. I always wanted to
Love
travel
your
there.
accent, by the way.
Oh, yeah. You guys are awesome.
I changed my Siri to an Australian accent.
That's
Because
right. Yes. Well, yeah.
I love it.
Well, I always think of New Zealand as like a cooler, smaller
It is.
Australia.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we love you, New Zealanders. Kiwis. And aren't they what they call Kiwis?
I should know more, but
Yeah,
I don't.
know. They got a good rugby team, I think.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know. I'm talking out the box. Write into Earth Oddity at PlanetMail.
Let us know more.
And let us know any New Zealand trivia you can. But I want to say,
And special props, because where they live isn't like the wildlife constantly trying to kill them. You
right?
know?
Yes. But I want to say like maybe their rugby team is called the All Blacks, and maybe their soccer team is called the All Whites. You know, which is kind of weird if you're from the South. But I think it has something to do with like their uniforms or something like that.
Well, I mean, this is an American viewpoint that we bring to this.
Right, yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's probably in New Zealand. It's
Yeah.
not that big a deal.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because like I said, I think it's more of a uniform type situation.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
But anyway, let me know, Agency 11. Let me know. I may be talking out of turn. I have to admit, we didn't get a lot of New Zealand facts in Northwest Alabama schools.
Yeah.
So, I'd like to know anything we can.
Our basketball team is the No Whites. I should cut that out.
I don't think so. I think we should leave it in. Yeah. I think that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You're
We're
right.
not good at basketball.
Yeah, I mean, White Men Can't Jump. They made a whole movie about it. They made one of my favorite movies, by the way. I love White Men Can't Jump.
Yeah.
One of my favorite movies ever.
Right.
That was good. That was good right there. I got my tickle box turned over. I like it.
For our last review, this comes from the UK, from Podyo 1980. And the title of the review is Nice Selection of News Stories, 5 stars. The hosts talk about a good variety of stories and offer plenty of humor along the way. The naughty jogger was a highlight for me, winky face.
Oh, yeah.
So
that was a good one. Which naughty jogger? I would like to know for sure.
I was going to say, all of them. All the joggers are naughty.
The jogging community's got some problems they need to clean up. I'll just put that way. Yes. Y'all got some issues. They really do.
Oh, man.
But we want to thank all of our international listeners.
And tell your friends.
Yeah. I know we're probably hard to understand. I mean, I know what I sound like on this thing, so if you're used to someone speaking prim and proper Queen's English, it's got to be a little difficult for you to work through at times, but we really appreciate it. And tell all your friends.
Yes.
You know, we want to do an Earth Oddity podcast world tour at some point in time. And so we're going to come and hang out with y'all and probably spend the night at your houses to save on hotel costs.
Yes.
So, you know, we really appreciate you guys, and we're glad that you found us. And
if you want to listen to us because you think we're dumb, I mean, hey, that's cool.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Nobody listens to this podcast because we're smart.
Right.
Hopefully they listen to it because they find us entertaining. Well, and we're cool with that.
Yeah, I'll say I've been made fun of my whole life. I'm used to it by now.
Yeah.
So if you want to get all your buddies around the pub or whatever you guys do, and wherever you are, and make fun of me, that's fine. I'm cool with it. You know, I've developed a hard exterior and really have repressed any feelings I may have over time from years of just being made fun of. So I'm cool with that.
You have been listening to Earth Oddity Podcast, and we thank you so much for listening to us no matter where you get us, whether it's iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, CastBox, Acast, Overcast, Podcast Republic.
That's right. We're featured there.
Wherever you listen to us, we thank you so much for listening to us. We could not be more thankful for it.
Right.
You can follow us on Twitter. We are @_Earth Oddity. We have an Instagram name of the same handle.
That's right.
You can like us on Facebook.
Earth Oddity Podcast.
Earth Oddity Podcast. You can join the Facebook group. Lots of shenanigans going on in there.
A lot of have fun with us in there.
Go vote in our poll for the best news story of the month of April, because at the end of the year, we plan to do a review show, and we need your input.
That's right.
And also, please write into the show, earthoddity@planetmail.net, because we really want your feedback. We really want to talk to you. We really want to be your friend.
That's right. We need friends.
Yes.
Reach out.
Y'all go have a great week.
I like that.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
This has been a very odd production. Thanks for listening.